Should I use the stickers and the coloring page? I can't do it. Hey everyone, it's Rebecca, and as many of you know, I love BTS. By this time, I was supposed to have seen BTS in concert, so this month I decided to do a Map of the Soul 7 theme for my bullet journal. It's so fitting because July is the 7th month of the year, it's their 7-year debut anniversary, they have 7 members, and Map of the Soul 7 is their 7th album, so I had to do it. I hope that I've hyped this up enough, so let's jump straight into the bullet journal setup. On the cover, I started out by sketching the 7 logo from the album art. Honestly, I thought it would be okay because it's just the number 7 layered in a bunch of different fonts, but it was actually so much harder than I thought. You know, sometimes you just really have to eyeball it, try it, and commit. It's not 100% the logo, but it's close enough for me. What I did was just look at where the colors were on the actual logo and tried to match them to roughly the same locations on my drawing. I made sure to start with the lighter colors and work my way into the darker ones because I could change my mind and cover up the differences with the darker color more easily. I chose to do the logo for the 4th concept album because that's the one that they used to promote the most. But I have to say that I like the 7 on the cover of the 2nd concept album the best. The pastels on the 2nd concept album are so soft and pretty. So for this 7, it's mostly made up of blue, but it has touches of yellow, orange, and pink around the edges. By the way, I've been asked a lot about what supplies I use. You can find all of that information on the screen or in the description down below. About halfway through, I was really worried because it didn't seem like the 7 was going to come out. But I just continued pushing through to the end, and I really like how the 7 turned out. After I cut off the corner of the page around the 7, I've always wanted to do a Dutch door kind of spread, but I didn't really know if I was ready to commit to actually cutting out multiple pages of my bullet journal. But this was a really good way to try it. On the other side of the cover, I wanted to write lyrics to one of my favorite songs from the album, which is We Are Bulletproof, The Eternal. I lettered the lyrics in blue and then added a yellow drop shadow and outlined them in black. I used my pen to outline because I was worried that I wrote the letters too close together, but looking back at it, I feel like maybe I should have chosen a thicker fine liner. I finished it off by adding some finishing touches with my white pen on the letters. I just drew some lines and dots as highlights. I wasn't fully satisfied with just the lyrics, so I added the song title in the corner. I also drew the BTS and ARMY logo around the lyrics, and yes, I did start accidentally drawing the BTS logo again. I always loved the lyrical and more ballad-like songs on their albums, so it was a no-brainer that I would love this one. The song is really nostalgic, and I feel like I experienced them growing up in the past 7 years through this song. Plus, they just released the music video for it, and I no joke cried. It was art. Beautiful art. I just finished watching Bang Bang Han the live, and I'm really not fine from it. Like, how could they sing Spring Day as the last song? That's probably my favorite song by them, and probably will be forever. If you watched it, let me know in the comments what you thought. Otherwise, comment down below who your bias is. Mine is definitely Taehyung, but I think Jungkook comes a really close second. Wait, on second thought, don't make me choose a favorite. I just really love all of them. As you can see, now that I've added the lyrics to both sides, once I flip the page to where the monthly spread will go, the lyrics will still be on the sides. I also wrote out July in the same blue lettering with a yellow drop shadow, but this time I outlined it with a black fine liner. I finally finished my cover off by adding some blue and yellow washi tape in the empty space. For the monthly spread, I went with a smaller calendar so that it would be hidden when the cover page was flipped open. I used a yellow highlighter to highlight the days that are in July and a blue highlighter for the other days. I went in again with the blue and yellow washi tape just to add some color, and then I still felt like it had too much empty space for my taste. I decided to draw the army bomb and a 7 to fill the space. The army bomb was actually really easy to draw, and it was just all basic shapes and lines really. For the 7, I did the same color scheme as the titles. For the expense page, I of course did the same color scheme as the previous titles, and then highlighted the title of the columns a darker purple and every other line a lighter purple. I think this setup would have been a little bit more cohesive if I kept with the blue and yellow theme, but I really wanted to incorporate the color purple somewhere because of the significance it has to BTS. For the habits tracker, I lettered the title, and then I wanted to include hearts. going along with the purple theme, I drew different shades of purple hearts for each of the habits. I accidentally drew the first one too thick though, but you know, we still love this page. It is perfectly imperfect. My idea is that if I do the habit for the day, then I'll get to shade part of the heart with purple, so hopefully by the end of the month, these hearts will be full. I still haven't decided completely if I'm going to leave spaces for the days I don't do the habit or to just fill the hearts from the bottom to the top, but I'll push off that decision until when July comes. Also, it blows my mind how much of a genius Taehyung is. Out of nowhere, he said that purple means that I will trust and love you for a long time because it's the last color of the rainbow, and that he wanted to see ARMY for a long time like the color purple. He literally gave new meaning to the color and came up with the saying Boded, which translates to I purple you on the spot. And now 3 to 4 years later, it's the only color that can possibly be used to represent both BTS and ARMY. Alright, now moving on to the weekly setups. This month I decided to do something different where I really just wanted to let the creativity flow and to let myself be free artistically. If you've watched my previous bullet journal videos, you'll know that I tend to like more structure to my spreads, but I wanted to see what it'd be like if I changed it up. BTS always talks about loving yourself, so we are going to love this theme no matter how it turns out. So rather than writing out the days of the week first, I started with lettering the song titles, and then you'll see that I just fit the days of the week wherever there was empty space. I was really inspired by Amanda H. Lee when she lettered the song titles when the album came out, so I just lettered the song titles around my weekly spreads. For the first weekly spread, I wanted to include all of the title tracks from Map of the Soul. So the first song, On, is one of the title tracks to this album, and oh my gosh, the choreography is crazy. It is kind of one of those songs that just pumps you up, and I also really just loved Jungkook's vocals during the bridge. Next is Boy With Love. This was from Map of the Soul Persona, and it's really just an upbeat, feel-good song. I absolutely love the choreography for this song too. Plus, it's a collaboration with Halsey, so of course I love it. Finally, I wrote out Black Swan in the bottom right corner. I was so nervous when they announced this song, but I think I actually screamed when they performed the choreography for the first time. I honestly think that this song was made for Jimin. I hope that one day we'll get to see him do choreo for a contemporary version of this song. For the next 3 weekly spreads, I divided the songs up based on if I felt like they went with the vibe of Intro Persona, Interlude Shadow, or Outro Ego. For Persona, I obviously chose all of the songs from the Map of the Soul Persona album, and also used the pink from the album throughout the spread. It's a real shame though that they didn't include Microcosmos and Home. Microcosmos is definitely one of my favorite songs by them, and it actually brings tears to my eyes. Anyway, Persona is amazing, the song is really creative, and I like how they took samples from their old songs for this album. I also genuinely have no clue how Namjoon raps that fast. Truly a great leader. Next up is Make It Right. If you want a good song for driving, then this song is definitely part of that category. It's so much fun to sing along to in the car. Ed Sheeran also helped to write it. I also added INSPO in the script font. I had chills when Jin, J-Hope, and Jungkook sang this song at Bang Bang Han. Their voices really balance each other out well for this more upbeat ballad. Finally, I used this funky font for Dionysus. I don't know what I was thinking, but it just felt right to use this font. When I first heard this song, I didn't really know how I felt about it, but now after listening to it so much, I can definitely say it's a jam. Also, a quick pro tip, if you need to work faster on something, definitely listen to this song. I once listened to Dionysus at work, and I could actually just feel my fingers typing quicker and quicker, especially when the chorus came on. The next spread is centered on Interlude Shadow. Blue is the darkest color in the Map of the Soul 7 album art, so I chose to use blue for this spread. I really love Suga's voice and rapping, and I think it was perfect for this song. The song takes a complete 180 towards the end, which completely threw me off the first time I listened to it. I think it's cool though that Yoongi isn't afraid to take creative risks. 0 o'clock, yes. Vocal line, yes. Melody, yes. It's beautiful. I don't even have words for it. Their voices blend together and harmonize perfectly. I love this song so much. It also just makes you feel happy, so I wrote out the lyrics, "Are you gonna be happy?" because it really stuck out to me when I first heard it. I wrote out My Time in a serif font. This is Jungkook's solo song, and Euphoria will always have a special place in my heart, but I really did like My Time. I think Jungkook's voice just does something to me. It just has so much tone and range that it just captures my attention. The lyrics are also so sweet. It makes me so sad that Jungkook grew up so fast, but I'm really happy that he grew up with 6 wonderful brothers around him. Moon is Jin's solo song, and I'm so proud of Jin. He doesn't write as many songs, but when he does, they are absolutely amazing. This song is really catchy too, and his voice really shines in songs like this. Louder Than Bombs was the last song that I included on this page. Troye Sivan also helped to write it, and I don't really know how to describe it. The instrumentals are really powerful, but the vocals go along with it perfectly. It's so good. If you couldn't tell already, I love every single song on this album, or maybe I just love every song by BTS. For the last weekly spread, I used yellow. Going with the pink and blue for Persona and Shadow, I wanted to use another color from the album Art 7, so I picked yellow. It also fit the pseudo-primary color theme I had going on. I still remember when the Ego comeback trailer was released, I got so excited when I saw the silhouette of J-Hope. This song actually just makes me want to get up and dance. I always know that if it's a song by Hobie, then it'll be fun and catchy. Next, I colored an area of the page and wrote Inner Child out in this cute font. This song hits differently though when you realize that it's a letter that Taehyung wrote to his younger self about how he's changed since the past and reassuring his past self that there's so much to come for him in the future. Tae always writes beautiful lyrics and his voice is able to show tons of emotion. Not to mention his voice is actually just honey. So soothing. I wrote out Filter in a script font. This is actually one of those songs that was totally unexpected because of the added Latin-inspired instrumentals, but Jimin's voice fit it perfectly, and I can totally imagine his choreography for it. It gives me shivers just thinking about it. Friends brings me to tears. Beeman will forever make my heart overflow with happiness. The lyrics are so personal and the instrumentals are really playful and bright. Their ad-libs throughout also go perfectly with the song. Plus, during Bangbankan, their performance was adorable because they held hands and wore uniforms like they were on their way to school like in the past. I think I actually squealed from pure excitement. Respect was such a fun song, and can I just say that Namjoon and Yoongi's choreography during Bangbankan was the sweetest and most wholesome thing I've ever seen, and it looked like they had so much fun on stage. I finished writing the song titles with adding UGG. I could already imagine the rap line performing this song, and I know it's about to be crazy good. This one time though, the song came on in the middle of the night when I pulled into an empty parking lot, and I nearly had a heart attack from the gunshot sound in the beginning. But other than that, the song is really exciting and fun. I went back in at the end to add some hearts and write 친구, which is friend in Korean, next to where I wrote friends. And that is it for my bullet journal. I really liked how this month's theme came out, even though it's different from my normal setup. I think I'll definitely try to give a little more creative freedom to my bullet journal every so often. It's also a good exercise to make yourself come up with something on the spot. You know what I just thought about? There are 7 wonders of the world. I think that these 7 boys could be considered wonders of the world. Who knew that in a universe so big, they met each other, became BTS, and that we had the pleasure of meeting them? I hope that they know that there are so many people like me that will stay by their side forever. If you couldn't already tell, this album was great. I hope that you'll go listen to the album now, and I'll see you all next week. Bye!